Okay, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to today's workshop, How to Apply to Become a Safer Advisory Group Member. Today's workshop is put on by the State Water Resources Control Board, and we thank you all for being here. My name is Vanessa Soto, and I'll be facilitating today's event with my colleague, Michael Ben.
Recording in progress.
We thank you for joining us today for, again, the How to Apply for the Safer Advisory Group workshop. As you are aware, this meeting is being held virtually. This meeting is also being recorded and being webcast publicly. This presentation, related materials, and the recording of today's workshop will be uploaded to the SAFER website for future reference. And later on in today's workshop, we'll go over how you can access that and where that's located. So we want to thank each of you for finding a way to join us virtually today. We recognize your patience and your understanding as we move, as we've been in a virtual space in order to try to adapt to current public health concerns. We're doing our best to make sure that everyone can participate in an effective way and that this time is valuable for you. So without further ado, let's move into today's agenda or some meeting logistics. Yeah, here we go. So we will begin by going over some meeting logistics, then we'll provide a brief SAFER program overview and answer any questions from all of you. From there, we'll go more in depth on what the SAFER Advisory Group duties and responsibilities are. And then we'll go over the SAFER Advisory Group application and provide a walkthrough of the application. So be sure you have some note-taking materials ready for that part. To finish up, we'll have an open Q&A session where you all can ask any questions related to the SAFER Advisory Group, the application, and the SAFER program in general. So again, thank you all for being here. And as a note, I am sharing my video, but as we move through the workshop, I may turn it off as my internet may get spotty sometimes, but we wanted to be sure to share the video at the beginning of this workshop. So before we dive into the SAFER overview, we have a few housekeeping reminders. So to go through those, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Michael Ben. Michael Ben?
Thank you, Vanessa. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Ben Ortiz, also with the State Water Board. I'll be co-facilitating tonight's workshop with Vanessa. We value and are grateful for your participation this evening. As a starting place, let's glance together 3 meeting chores: technology, our house rules, and workshop goals. You might want to get a pencil and write these items down. For technical assistance and language support assistance during this meeting, please email safer@waterboards.ca.gov. Water Board staff monitors this mailbox and is eager to support all questions or comments. Number 2, this workshop is webcast at video.calepa.ca.gov. And as a reminder, we all want to hear from one another, but not all the time. So when you're speaking, remember to mute yourself. And lastly, please take breaks as you need them. This session will be recorded and can be viewed later at your convenience, so you will not be missing anything. As a reminder, this workshop is offered both in English and Spanish. This evening's broadcast in Spanish is made by selecting the interpretation icon at the bottom of your screen. Simply select Spanish, then select the option for Mute Original Audio. This will mute the English background audio. For those preferring Spanish and who cannot join by Zoom, we have arranged a Spanish phone line. Also, we have a special spot reserved for comments at the end of our workshop. The Spanish phone line number is 916-255-4044. That's 916-255-4044. Now, please welcome Marina Perez to present this information in Spanish.
Gracias. Buenas noches. Gracias a todos por acompañarnos esta noche. Mi nombre es Marina Pérez y mi función como moderadora en español esta noche es asegurar que sus preguntas se oigan. Como un recuerdo, este taller se ofrece en inglés y español. Por favor, escuchar el taller de hoy en español. Por favor, seleccione el icono de interpretación que aparece abajo de su pantalla y seleccione Spanish. Tiene la opción de silenciar el audio en inglés cuando selecciona Mute Original Audio para solo escuchar la presentación en español por teléfono y participar de la sesión de preguntas y respuestas también por teléfono y en español. Llame al número telefónico 916-255-4044.
Thank you, Marina. In cyberspace, we're challenged to connect and to feel comfortable. We start with meeting warmers these days and do polling. These new traditions are a simple way for all of us to, as we like to say, get a feel of the virtual room and feel comfortable. We will have several polls this evening. So we're going to begin with a warmer and a poll question with choices. So we'd like you to select the answer that applies most to you. And so the question is going to be, what is your favorite cold snack? Summertime is getting hotter and hotter, and who does not like cold treats? I love them. There's so many to choose from. So let's discover together what others treat themselves to on hot days of summer. We'll leave this poll up for a few moments. We got lime spritzer, water, ice cream bars, margaritas, well, based on the poll results, it looks like we have it's after 5 p.m. Okay. Looks like we have a lot of different choices, and I guess that's what makes summer so sweet. We have a lot of choices. So we'll move on to the next slide here. And I'd like to also mention that if you're joining by phone and you can't participate in the poll on a desktop, you'll be given the opportunity to raise your hand and unmute yourself for the polls that are to follow. To do this, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 on your telephone keypad. If you're called on, press *6 to unmute yourself. And then when you're through talking, it's *9 again. So it's *9, *6, *9 to lower your hand. For those on the Spanish conference line, please let our moderator, Marina, know if you would like to share your responses. You can also email your responses to the SAFER website, safer@waterboards.ca.gov. Now we'll look at the workshop goals. Now that we're all warmed up and dreaming of treats, there are 2 more items we want to review. These are this evening's goals and communicating with each other. The purpose of this workshop is to familiarize us with the SAFER program and the SAFER Advisory Group application process. We will provide a SAFER program overview. We will review the roles and responsibilities of the SAFER Advisory Group, and review the SAFER Advisory Group application. So we're all better informed by asking questions. Our staff is behind the scenes, taking notes and getting questions so that we can give answers. We have made space at the end of this workshop to address all of your questions. If you would like to submit a question or comment by email, our email is safer@waterboards.ca.gov. A good message will have a subject line like AG App Workshop and your last name, the last 3 digits of your phone number. And don't forget to put a comment in your email. For our call-ins who want to raise the hand and speak later, pressing *9. If you are called upon, you can unmute yourself by pressing *6. And once again, after you have finished speaking, you can lower your hand by pressing *9. Again, that's *9. That completes our meeting chores, and we can move forward now to this evening's goals. Please welcome back our colleague, Vanessa Soto. All right, Vanessa, mic's yours.
Thanks so much, Michael Ben. And so, folks, I just wanted to let you know that I saw some chats coming through saying that my audio was low. We did some tech checks, and I was checking with my colleagues, and it's coming through okay on their end. So I'm hoping that maybe you can turn your speakers up when I speak, or perhaps right into the safer@waterboards.ca.gov email, so that we can try and troubleshoot with you while we continue with the workshop. But we will continue for now. I will also try to speak up and into the mic. I'm getting some feedback that I sound okay. So for those who cannot hear me well, please email safer@waterboards.ca.gov to see if we can help you troubleshoot and get that resolved for you. And I do apologize for that. So we will continue with the workshop. Thank you again, Michael Ben, for walking us through those housekeeping rules and also the poll. It was really fun to see everybody's favorite drink. I see that it's after 5 p.m. and some folks are ready for margaritas. And so thank you for being here and putting those off for a little while longer for us. All right, so now that we are all warmed up and dreaming of our sweet treats, there are 2 more items we wanted to review. These are this evening's goals and also communicating with each other. So the purpose of this workshop is to familiarize us with the SAFER program and the SAFER Advisory Group application process. We will provide a SAFER program overview, review the roles and responsibilities of the SAFER Advisory Group, and review the SAFER Advisory Group application. I just want to remind everyone that today's workshop is being recorded and also broadcast publicly. And that reminds me, if you can't hear me very well, you can also go to the Cal EPA website and listen in there. And the audio might be better for you on that webpage. And that webpage is video.calepa.ca.gov. And you can find our webcast listed on that page, so the audio might be better for you there. All right, sorry for that caveat. Here we go. So on to slide 9. We all are better informed by asking questions. So our staff is behind the scenes taking notes and getting questions so that we can give answers. We have made space at the end of this workshop and a little bit in between sections to address all of the questions that you might have. If you would like to submit a question or comment via email, our email is safer@waterboards.ca.gov. A good message will have the subject line that says AG Application Workshop, your name, and if you're calling in from the phone, the last 3 digits of your phone number, and of course your comment. If you are calling in by phone or on the Zoom channel, please let us know if you'd like to read that comment yourself or if you'd like us to read it to the group for you. For call-ins who want to raise your hand or speak later, please press *9. If you're called upon, you can unmute yourself by pressing *6. Once you have finished speaking, you can lower your hand by pressing *9 again. Again, that's *6 to raise your hand and *9 to unmute yourself. So that completes our meeting chores, and now we can begin to this evening's workshop. So now we'll move on to our second poll this evening, and I'll go ahead and launch that now. Oops. So how familiar are you with the SAFER program? So I am very familiar. I am somewhat familiar. I may have heard of it, but I am unfamiliar with the specifics of it, or I have never heard of the SAFER program. And it looks like we have just over half of the folks joining today who voted. So we'll just give a few seconds more to get those responses. So responses are slowing down. I'll go ahead and end the polling. So thanks for sharing with us. It looks like most folks joining today are somewhat familiar with the SAFER program. Alrighty, so again, thanks for sharing, and we want to express our gratitude for each of you being here today. So on to our SAFER overview. What is SAFER? SAFER stands for the Safe and Affordable Funding for Equity and Resilience program. And it's just that, a program that is a collection of tools, funds, and regulatory authorities designed to help struggling water systems provide safe drinking water to their customers in a sustainable and affordable way. Although the SAFER program is in its second year, it's an extension of a long history of California bills related to drinking water, most recently AB 685 that established the human right to water as state law. And as an interesting note, California was the first state in the United States to do this. Alrighty, so on to a quick timeline. The SAFER program itself started with the passing of Senate Bill 200 in July 2019. SB 200 established the Safe and Affordable Drinking Water Fund, which distributes up to $130 million annually for the next 10 years to the State Water Board to provide short and long-term drinking water solutions to work towards all Californians having access to safe, clean, affordable drinking water, which as of 2012, we just mentioned, is a California constitutional right. Two important components of the SAFER program that I want to highlight are the Fund Expenditure Policy and the Fund Expenditure Plan. These two documents determine where this funding is going. So the Fund Expenditure Policy serves as guidance for how the Fund Expenditure Plan is developed and implemented, and also defines key terms and outlines who is eligible and what types of projects are eligible for funding. This policy was adopted by the state board in May of 2020. The Fund Expenditure Plan directs how much money from the fund can be spent, and the plan is approved annually by the board. You'll see later that this is one of the key components of SAFER that the advisory group provides input on. The Fund Expenditure Plan is based on drinking water needs assessment that prioritizes projects for funding. The plan includes topics like affordability thresholds, community engagement plans, tribal outreach plans, goals and metrics, and the SAFER Advisory Group, as well as SAFER Advisory Group information and timelines. The State Water Board adopted the fund expenditure plan last year in July and is still working this year to review and approve a final version for 2021. So if you're interested in learning more, these two documents are available online in English and in Spanish at our SAFER website. And so those two versions are available in English and Spanish for the last year's fund expenditure plan. Since this year's fund expenditure plan for 2021 has not been finalized, the final versions are not yet available, but you can see drafts and the progress being made on our SAFER website. So just a little note there. Alrighty, so here is a quick overview of the funds available. And so although SB 200 established a fund of up to $130 million a year, there are also funds that are part of the SAFER program and are highlighted by this graphic. So other complementary funding includes general fund allocations, drinking water bond funding, drinking water state revolving fund or SRF principal forgiveness or non-repayable loans, and Proposition 1 groundwater funds. There is a total of approximately $496 million available for drinking water projects, both capital and non-capital, in small disadvantaged communities for this next year, the past year and this upcoming year. SAFER program funds can be used towards short-term solutions like providing replacement water to a community or towards long-term solutions like building technical and managerial capacity or upgrading water systems. So unlike other funding programs, for the SAFER program, the State Water Board is proactively reaching out to the communities that we are prioritizing. These would be small disadvantaged communities as defined by the state that have out of compliance water systems right now. So that's our first priority, and as well as other systems that are also welcome to apply through a fast application online. Our Division of Financial Assistance staff will try to match you with the best funding sources for a project using SAFER funds or other available funds depending on the project. And okay, yes, thank you. So for a SAFER overview, the SAFER program is administered as a collaborative between 4 different offices at the State Water Board and a variety of outside partners. Staff on this call today are part of the Office of Public Participation, also known as OPP, and we are tasked with coordinating the public engagement and meeting facilitation for the SAFER program to ensure that communities and non-governmental groups are effectively participating in this program as intended. The Division of Financial Assistance has been in charge of writing up the fund expenditure plan and handles SAFER funding applications. The Division of Drinking Water has been working to finish the needs assessment, collect necessary data for the program, and have been in contact with water systems who are out of compliance throughout the state. The Division of Water Quality houses the Groundwater Ambient Monitoring and Assessment, also known as GAMMA unit, which will prepare an aquifer risk map. And these maps are updated annually and help in the preparation of the needs assessment and fund expenditure plan by highlighting possibly contaminated aquifers being used to provide drinking water across the state. Okay, so that is a quick, very brief overview of the SAFER program. And now we are to our Q&A section, our question and comment section for the SAFER overview. So if you'd like to ask a question or provide comments on the SAFER overview, please raise your hand. To raise your hand, go to the participants window on your screen and click on the raise hand icon. And we will try our best to call in those who have their hands raised. As a reminder, if you are calling in, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 on your a telephone keypad. That's *9. If you're called on, we'll ask that you unmute yourself, and this can be done by pressing *6. If we don't have a chance to get to everyone, feel free to email safer@waterboards.ca.gov anytime, and we will be sure to get to your questions at the Q&A section at the end of this workshop. And as a reminder, if you're on the Spanish conference line, we have Marina, who is on the Spanish conference line, ready to moderate and ask any questions that you have on that conference line as well. So it does not look like we have any questions coming in through the chat. We don't have any raised hands, but I'd like to check with Marina to see if we have any questions coming in on the conference line. Okay.
This is Marina on the Spanish conference line. There are no questions or comments being brought into the Spanish conference line.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping in and letting us know, Marina.
Sure.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like we have any questions.
Well, Lee has a question, but doesn't know how to raise his hand.
Oh, okay. Let me see, Lee. I will ask you to unmute yourself on Zoom and see if you're able to speak into your mic. One sec. Let me find you in the participants queue. There we go. Oh, hi, Lee. So I see you're unmuted.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. My name's Lee. I'm a hydrologist with GSI Water Solutions. We do a lot of work in the Central Coast of California. And I'm just wondering, how have funds been spent to date? Is there a portion of the funds that are going to rehabbing wells or drilling new wells? And if not, how are the funds being spent?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. And so today's workshop is actually to go over the Safer Advisory Group and as well as the Safer Advisory Group application. But we want to make sure that we answer those questions coming in as well. And so we will take note of that question, but you can also write into safer@waterboards.ca.gov. And I'd also like to invite you to the Safer Advisory Group meeting, which will be on August 12th. And they are going to do a deep dive into the fund expenditure plan and let the public, as well as the Safer Advisory Group, know how funds have been spent to date and what the plans are for this upcoming year for the funds. And so while we don't have specifics on that today, we can definitely get back to you, but also invite you to join to the Safer Advisory Group meeting on August 12th, starting at 9 a.m. To listen in to that deep dive on how funds have been spent to date. So
okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, I'll make sure to make it.
Awesome, thank you. And yeah, just as a reminder, the Safer Advisory Group meeting will be recorded. So if for some reason you can't make it or you missed that part, you can always go back and review that.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Lee. Alrighty, folks. It does not look like we have any more raised hands. And there's no other questions coming in. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Safer Advisory Group overview. And for that, I'd like to bring on or invite Michael Ben back.
Thanks, Vanessa. As you know, one integral part of the SAFER program is the SAFER Advisory Group. Senate Bill 200, or what we call SB 200, created $130 million a year fund for safe drinking water for all Californians. Another requirement of SB 200 is that the Water Board convene an advisory group. So this advisory group both advises and gives feedback on how this program is financed. This is accomplished through the fund expenditure plan and the fund expenditure policy and other related policies and analyses. So here is a picture of the SAFER program's first advisory group. This picture was taken at our first SAFER meeting earlier last year, I guess. Have you ever seen such a beautiful picture of our water gold medal winners? Okay, next slide, please. The SAFER Advisory Group has 19 members. This select group represents 7 different categories. 6 of those categories are outlined in SB 200, and they are public water systems, technical assistance providers, local agencies, non-governmental organizations, we call those NGOs, the public, and residents served by community water systems in disadvantaged communities, state small water systems, and domestic wells. We have added a 7th category for tribal water systems to ensure there is a tribal representation in the advisory group. Advisory group members are appointed by the board's executive director or her designee, who tries to ensure that a representative from at least one tribe is appointed to the advisory group and that appointments are geographically balanced. Advisory group members serve 2-year rotating terms. This means half of the advisory group membership is replaced or reappointed each year. Current advisory group members are listed in the membership application package. SAFER advisory group members are governed by a charter, which you can also find on the SAFER website. The purpose of the advisory group is to bring together people with different experiences and expertise to advise the State Water Board on how to spend SAFER funds. This usually includes reviewing materials in between advisory group meetings, participating in all advisory group meetings, and working with board staff to provide feedback on outreach and engagement tools designed to support public participation. This year, for example, the advisory group provided input on how the fund expenditure plan was developed and implemented. They also gave valuable feedback on how and if community needs were being met through SAFER program efforts. Okay, so what does the advisory group do? So first, the advisory group members show up. Members are expected to attend all group meetings, which are up to 4 times a year in locations around the state. 2020 was a year to remember and held the last 2 advisory group meetings on Zoom. If, for whatever reason, an advisory group member cannot attend a meeting, we request that they contact Water Board staff. Advisory group members can be removed for 2 or more advisory group meetings absences in 1 year. Second, and very important, advisory group members provide valuable advice and feedback on the SAFER fund expenditure plan and other key policies related to the SAFER program. That said, advisory group members provide advice and feedback, yet advisory group members do not approve plans, documents, make policy decisions. They have input on the plans, documents, and policy decisions, but there is no official vote or approval. SAFER is a huge project with many pieces. The State Water Board staff do take advisory group advice and feedback seriously. We note and follow up on the feedback we receive at every advisory group meeting. And second, advisory group members do not evaluate individual Safer Fund applications. Members do not approve or vote on these applications. That is the work of the staff at the State Water Board's Division of Financial Assistance. So if you are part of a water system that will receive Safer Funds or is a priority of funding, you can most certainly apply to be an advisory group member. So let's go back to the 7 advisory group categories. Unlike the saying, round hole in a square peg, you'll need to select and fit into one of these 7 categories on the application. Again, the SB 200 advisory group 7 categories are the public, residents served by community water systems in small, disadvantaged communities, state small water systems, and domestic wells. Public water systems, tribal water systems or tribal representatives, technical assistance providers, local agencies, and last but not least, non-governmental organizations. Special consideration is based on geographic diversity reviewers who will discover what we will discover in all the applications. And we encourage anyone with a passion for water resilience representing one of these 7 different categories to apply. And it's time for another poll. That was a lot of information. We're going to break this up with another quick poll. And the question is, what would prevent you from applying to be a Safer Advisory Group member?
Are you going to go ahead and launch that, Michael Ben, or did you want me to do that?
I think I can get it here. Stand by.
Okay, great.
Polls. Results. I'm still on the last poll. Can somebody grab that? Someone able to post that? I can't see from my vantage place here. So while we're sorting through these answers, we'll say it again because it's part of the Zoom calls here. But if you want to raise your hand, press *9. And if you're called on to speak, press *6 to unmute yourself. And when you're done, *9 again. So *9, *6, *9. Yes, I saw the overwhelming responsibilities comment, and it is a lot. But I think on the State Water Board's end, we do everything we can to get you the right materials and make sure we can get your expertise here. And none of us here are rocket scientists, but we certainly value any input that you can bring.
Can you? Thank you.
That guy's just alpha as fuck all around the board.
Okay, well, it looks like we got a few answers here, and we'll move on to the next piece here, which is very important. So don't worry. We're all here to tell you that these factors do not need to prevent you from applying to be a Safer Advisory Group member. For the advisory group, we're looking for people who want to share their experiences and are dedicated to working with people from different backgrounds with many different perspectives. Together, we make a beautiful mosaic. We need people who want to represent their community and has ideas or expertise about how together we can achieve funding equity and environmental justice for all Californians. The Water Board staff will provide all the necessary information and background documents. Documents can be translated or interpretation services are always available as needed. All we are missing is your perspective and the community's perspective more broadly. So before we get into the next section, how to apply, could we see who is with us today? So we're going to launch the next poll. Maybe somebody can grab that one because I'm not getting good response here. I'll give it a shot. Polls. Are you getting the polls there?
No, it looks like our
Vanessa?
polls are acting funny today. So our poll is, which category do you represent? And so if you remember, we do have about seven categories for the Safer Advisory Group application, and everybody fits into one. I'm trying to look back and find those. So we have the public, residents served by community water systems in small disadvantaged communities or state small water systems and domestic wells, public water systems, tribal water systems or tribal representatives, technical assistance providers, local agencies, and last but not least, non-governmental organizations. So those are our seven categories that we have. Please let us know in the chat which one you represent. We'd really like to know, who our what categories our participants represent today. And I see a lot of our participants today have non-governmental NGO and or TA provider. So that's really great. Thanks for being here today. I think categories are starting to slow, so we'll go ahead and move on from this poll question. And I think that's me. So thanks, Michael Ben, for taking us through that SAFER overview. I did want to address really quick, we had Jennifer Hazard comment on the poll before this most recent one of, what would prevent folks from applying for the SAFER advisory group. And we had a comment that said conflict of interest if we are TA providers under SAFER. And I think I can understand where that apprehension is coming from, but we'd like to encourage you to apply. As you know, our one of our categories is NGO, and another category is a TA provider. And so we value your insight and your expertise that you might have, by working on the ground to address water challenges. And currently we have, I believe we have about one or two TA providers represented on the advisory group, but that also receives SAFER funds. So at this point, it's not a conflict of interest because the SAFER advisory group doesn't make decisions on where the funding is going or which communities or applications receive funding. Really, the SAFER advisory group really provides feedback on how the SAFER program is being implemented and how funds are being spent. But DFA really makes the decisions on approving funding applications or TA contracts. So there is no conflict of interest there. And thanks for sharing that concern here with us today. And we can chat more during the virtual office hours, or if you have any questions, if you do decide to fill out a SAFER application, feel free to email us. Alrighty, So we are here. Here's how to apply. So if we can go back one slide, we've gone, that's not, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that it was kind of just our intro slide. All right, so we've gone over the SAFER program and the SAFER advisory group more broadly, but what does the application process look like? So first off, here are the key dates. We opened the application period on July 6th of 2021. Applications must be submitted by August 31st, 2021. And if you are filing your application by mail or sending that in by snail mail or traditional mail, it must be postmarked by August 31st, 2021. If you're filling out the application and emailing that, you must send that email by 11:59 p.m. or Pacific time on August 31st, 2021. And same with submitting the application online. It must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on August 31st, 2021. Applicants will be notified whether or not you are appointed in the winter of 2021. And so now we'll go over kind of a quick overview of how to submit your application and then a quick application tutorial. So the fastest way to apply is using the online application found at the SAFER Advisory Group website. And it's actually the preferred method as well. There's an application form on your screen, and the application is available in English and Spanish. And so I'll show you how to access the different languages as we move into the application tutorial in a few minutes. So hang tight. So as I mentioned, there are a couple of ways to apply for the SAFER Advisory Group. So there are two additional ways to apply in addition to the online application. They can all be found at the SAFER Advisory Group website. And I'll also go over the website and how to find it in just a sec. You can fill out the application online, which we highlighted in the previous slide. You can download the application PDF in English or Spanish, fill it out, and email it to safer@waterboards.ca.gov. And lastly, you can print the PDF application in English or Spanish and mail it to the State Water Boards at 1001 I Street in Sacramento, and the zip code is 95814. And the address to mail that in is also listed on the application. And if you need a printed application, we can mail you a printed application. And so we understand that folks don't always have reliable access to internet or access to a printer. So if you email a request to safer@waterboards.ca.gov, we will mail you a paper application in English or Spanish to fill out. Okay, so let's move on to our step-by-step tutorial. So if everyone wants to take out a piece of paper or some way to document some notes on, the goal is that you can have a template to work from by that time that we're done here. And as a reminder, we will be sharing our screens to walk through the website and how to access downloadable PDF applications. So let's get started. For those of us following along, you'll want to go to the SAFER website at waterboards.ca.gov/SAFER. And from there, you'll select the SAFER Advisory Group icon. It has the picture of all of the SAFER Advisory Group members that we showed earlier. And then there's a little green button at the top of that screen that you can click, and it'll send you to the Apply to Become a SAFER Advisory Group member section. So I'll go ahead and share my screen now. Let me see. Oops. So sorry, one sec. Alrighty, if my team can let me know, or if folks can let me know in the chat if you can see my screen. Okay, great. And we actually had, thank you, Britta, for sharing the website link in the chat if you'd like to follow along there. So you can find the Safer Advisory Group link there. And so let me make my screen bigger so that folks can see better. All right, so here we are, waterboards.ca.gov/safer. We'll scroll down here and you'll see that there's a few tiles of interest. Well, all of them are very important and have essential information, but depending on what you're looking for, here is a calendar of events that lists all of the links to join all of the safer events. And then over here on the right is the Safer Advisory Group tile. So we'll go ahead and click that. And once it takes us there, you'll scroll down, and so you'll see here's the charter in both English and Spanish, and that's really important to review before you submit your application. And that just tells you your roles and your obligations if you're appointed as a Safer Advisory Group member. But this is new. It's a cool little button that you can click that says apply now, and it'll take you straight to the section which is pertinent to your application. So here you'll find how to apply to become a Safer Advisory Group member. And here are the 3 ways that you can apply. You can apply online, and this link takes you directly to the online application. You can email your application, and so you can email or download an English PDF. You can download a Spanish PDF, and again, you'll want to email to safer@waterboards.ca.gov, or you can mail your application, and it'll be the same process where you download an English or Spanish application, and then you'll mail it to the address listed on the application. And I also do have an application that I can show you where to find the address. And again, if you need an application, you can email or call us, and we'll be happy to send you an application. I did want to point out that we have these cool videos on applying to become a Safer Advisory Group member. And all of these are in English and Spanish. And so, so here's the how to apply to become a Safer Advisory Group member. And it's a quick tutorial on the application process. And then this is a video done by one of our board members, Laurel Firestone, board member Laurel Firestone. And she talks a little bit about what it means and to be a Safer Advisory Group member and why you should apply. And it's really cool. And that one is also available in Spanish, and you can find the link by going to this video. All right. So sorry. Okay. And down here are some helpful links. Here's the Safer Advisory Group application FAQ in both English and Spanish, the Safer FAQ, as well as the group charter. And the slides are also available here and also here. So the slides to this workshop today are listed here, and we'll also post the video once we're done here today. And so I would like to go ahead and click on the online application. So you can see here, it takes you straight to the online application, which is really nice and convenient. Up here on the right-hand side is where you can toggle from English to Spanish. So if you click the menu, the drop-down menu will give you in English, or it'll give you Español, Spanish, that you can click here, and it will change everything, and everything is the same in English and in Spanish. If you do need the application in a language other than English or Spanish, we ask that you do give us at least 10 to 15 days business day notice so that we can make the proper accommodations for you for that application. All right, so we'll go ahead, and so all of the required fields are marked by a red star, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, as everything kind of switches to a virtual space. And so it'll walk you through, and I just want to show you here. So we'll fill this out here, and I just want to show you really quick that it does take you to, it does hop you around based on the category that you choose. So say you are applying as a technical assistance provider, it will take you straight to the technical assistance provider section of the application. And this mirrors completely. So I'll just put safer drinking water in is a program analyst. Of course, this is all hypothetical. And we'll go to next. And then this is the portion where you put why you are interested in joining the Safer Advisory Group. And so I know that we have a lot of folks joining from NGOs or TA providers. And so one reason why you're interested is that, you have a lot of interest in communities that have water challenges, whether it's access to water, water quantity, water quality, whatever it may be that relates to the SAFER program, and why you want to share your insight as expertise is what you should share here with us. And I do want to invite anybody, if you want to discuss that during the office hours, we can definitely do that. Or if folks want to share here, we can do that as well. You can share through the chat. So we can just get to know more about why folks are interested in joining the Safer Advisory Group. So that does it for our overview. And so we'll move on really quick to the application review process on slide 31, I think. Let's access the application. Okay, interesting. So really quickly, the application review process, just to give you a little bit of background, I know that we are at 6:30, but the Water Board's executive director or her appointee reviews and appoints the Safer Advisory Group members. So although we are sharing with you all tips and recommendations on the application process, we at the Office of Public Participation do not actually have final decision-making power in the application review process. The Water Board's executive director is looking to appoint advisory group members that fit into one of the 7 categories, and that each of those 7 categories is present on the advisory group. The executive director also takes the geographic distribution into account. So California is a large state with water issues in essentially every part of the state. So geographic diversity is given consideration as well to ensure that the advisory group is representative of a large portion of the state. And as a reminder, there are 10 seats open for this application round. All right, so how to stay involved. I think I will pass it over to Michael Ben for that part.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you all for joining us for that tutorial. So to recap, we would love to have you all apply to the Safer Advisory Group and have your friends apply too. Share the resources you have received and what you have learned here today with someone you believe would be a great fit for the advisory group. There are 10 seats in this application round, and I see that we have more than 10 attendees joining us for today's workshop. So I want to mention that you can still stay involved with the SAFER program, even if you miss out on the appointment as an advisory group member. So you can stay involved by attending the SAFER advisory group meetings, all of which are webcast, live, and recorded. The recordings of past meetings are available for viewing on the SAFER website in the advisory group section. Each advisory group meeting has a space for public comment, and that's a spot you're always welcome. The next meeting of the advisory group is August the 12th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be held virtual in both English and Spanish. And I will mention this for particularly useful. This is a particularly useful meeting to attend because the fund expenditure plan will be reviewed and we'll have a chance to see how the advisory group operates and the feedback that they give. So don't forget to mark your calendars for that. Along these lines, we're wrapping up our SAFER Summer Series. And for more information and dates for future community meetings, check out the SAFER calendar. Recordings of past meetings can also be viewed there by visiting the calendar page. You can access the SAFER calendar and the SAFER advisory group page from the main SAFER page at waterboards.ca.gov/SAFER. And we suggest that you join the SAFER email list to receive regular email updates on all things SAFER, like this workshop. This can be done by visiting SAFER website again. And last, be sure to check the website calendar to see any upcoming events that you might want to participate or attend. So I'm going to just skip the poll pieces here and move on to the just the review slide. So I want to say thanks for, oh, we have questions. We have does anyone have any questions?
Actually, if you don't mind, Jennifer, we'll just do this quick review in closing, and then we are also in our virtual office hours now, so we can take questions after we share these last quick details, if that's okay.
Thanks, Jennifer. So in summary, applications are due August the 31st. You can email them, mail, or fill out an application online. There are 10 group seats open. Everyone interested should apply. And there's 7 categories we're looking for, and everyone fits into at least one of those. And if you're not appointed, you can still be involved in SAFER. So it's a win all the way around. So I'd like to thank everyone that participated and to all of our staff who assisted behind the scenes. And let's see, what else? If we don't get your question or comment today, remember that you can still email us or visit the website. And remember that there is an advisory group meeting with a question and answer session on September 11th that we encourage you all to attend. And if we don't get any question or comment today, you can note that you can call us also at 916-445-5615. And to end this workshop, we want to remind you that we are opening the virtual office and the workshop is concluding. And if anyone is interested in remaining in this virtual space and ask additional questions or chat up the application, stay online and in this meeting space, and we will address them in our virtual office. For the rest of us, we want to give a big shout out to the water board staff and our interpreter Aldo for this meeting. It's tough to do a meeting in 2 languages, so hope I didn't talk too fast. The appreciation goes double for the public who is taking time in your valuable summertime evening to work together with us in advancing safe and affordable drinking water to every Californian. So thanks again. Buenas noches, and in my language, Nusi Chukma, or good night.
Thank you, Michael Ben, and thank you everyone for joining us. Please feel free to stick around to listen to folks or to chat a little bit more about the application process. And really quick, before everyone jumps off, just want to plug in once more
Recording stopped.
that we have the Safer Advisory Group meeting on August 12th that we encourage you all to attend. And this is a really great meeting to attend if you really want to see the Safer Advisory Group in action and what it might be like. To be a Safer Advisory Group member, the fund expenditure plan will be reviewed and members will give feedback on that. There will be an opportunity to provide public comment at the advisory group meeting. And if you can't make it to that one, the last Safer Advisory Group meeting of the year will be on November 18th. So don't forget to mark your calendars. Thanks again, and thanks to all of the Water Board staff for supporting and to our interpreter.